Hey guys, I wanted to take a little bit of time to check in. We're a month into my little experiment here. February 26th, we uploaded the first video to YouTube on January 26th. We started trying to push that as a as a brand and turn it into a brand. I popped in a couple weeks in and gave you some stats and told you what we were doing. So that's what I want to do now. We just passed the 100 subscriber mark on YouTube, which from what I understand is people say that's the hardest milestone to get to, is to get to 100 subscribers on YouTube. So I think we're doing pretty good. I think we got about 103 today. So let's go ahead and go through subscribers and followers first. It looks like YouTube we're 103. We're up 64 from 2 weeks ago. Instagram we're up 115 from 2 weeks ago, up to 729. Musically we haven't really been pushing yet. So we're up 17 to 82 followers on Musically. We've only put, one video of any stature up that was even decent. Facebook, we're up a few, 4 to 21. Facebook for Business, of course, they made those changes a while back. It's not going to be so great unless you want to pay, and we're not ready to spend any money yet. Like I said, we're talking about taking this business from $0 and trying to turn it into a viable scenario, whether or not that's retailing sneakers, whether or not that's being a brand influencer, making YouTube advertising dollars, or anything like that. Once again, we did upload the first video on January 26th, so this is February 26th now, going into March 2018. Live streaming, I think, is going to be the way to go for the future. We were uploading videos, edited videos that we record and then edit and then push up to YouTube and just kind of see how they go. Short, we started off, I think the first one was 7 or 8 minutes. We had one that was 15 or 16 minutes. I basically streamed 2 days this past weekend, and tripled my watch time. Granted, they were long streams. One was 2 hours and some change, and one was 3 hours and 44 minutes. What I did with this was I basically streamed myself from my webcam that's built into my computer back here, and then I screencast from my phone and my computer as well, just basically showing me trying to buy hard to buy shoes, rare shoes that there were only, one of the pairs of shoes, I think there were only 1,250 pairs available between the US and the UK. So what I did was just live stream myself trying to buy those things on Adidas's website, Nike's website, and Foot Locker's website, just bouncing around, figuring out where they were available, what sites were working, and talking to people in the chat room. We gained a lot of subscribers off that. Like I said, we got over the 100 mark, which is a pretty big milestone, I think, for somebody that just wants to sit around and talk about sneakers. It's a pretty good subset of people. Had a lot of people in the chat rooms, talking to me and going back and forth and talking about other sneakers. It was pretty cool. Our average watch time per video had actually gone down. A few weeks ago or a couple weeks ago to about 1 minute and 27, 28 seconds, I think. People just pop in, they see what you're doing. If they don't like what you're doing, they move on. Those streams have got us back up to 3 minutes and 10 seconds average watch time, so that's back up pretty good. Watch time total right now, we're at 15,335 minutes, which is about 256 hours, a little under 256 hours. So once again, to get in, we need 1,000 subscribers to get into the money, and 4,000 hours yearly. So until I reach both of those goals, YouTube will not open my page up for monetization and let me make money off advertising. So what I was trying to buy one day was the Pharrell Williams from the Neptunes. He's partnered up with Adidas, and he has his own signature sneaker. So I was trying to get one of his sneakers, and I was trying to get Neighborhood. Neighborhood is a streetwear brand out of Japan that's based around vintage motorcycle culture. So Neighborhood and Adidas teamed up and designed a line of clothes and a couple different sneakers. And so there was these one sneakers that everybody wanted, so I wanted to try to pick those up and just go through the process of how it happens. Live streaming was a huge bump in my 18 to 24 demographic, which was in last place. I was the least popular in 18 to 24, and that could have been starting off You know, I was sharing it on my personal Facebook page and all. So that could have just been my friends keeping that down. But now that we're starting to pull a lot more people just out of the YouTube search, we're seeing that really take off. I believe the live streaming has really helped out that 18 to 24. That's something that demographic's into. And honestly, it was a little fun. It's weird, like I said, doing all this like super voyeuristic stuff, but it was really fun live streaming and talking to people I had no idea, never met before. You know, talking to them in the chat room and seeing what they're into and just meeting people. So it was odd at first, but I've warmed up to it a little bit. It was really fun. Now, second demographic is 25 to 34. So we're really strong in the 18 to 34 male. I think all the views were 100% male in this period, and that's strictly because, you know, I kind of expected it, but males are into sneakers. 25 shares. We're only up 14 shares. We had 9 last time I checked in, so there we go. I did want to go over, I did a little research going through some YouTube estimation sites on what people are making. Some people say this is about 70%, so they say take what that site gives you, tells you. It's basically social media tools telling you what kind of ad money is available and who's doing what. One of the top guys who's into doing what I'm doing here, who has a sneaker blog and a sneaker channel, he's got 760,000 subscribers, and they estimate that he's doing about 306,000 a year, right around. So he's bringing in about 306,000. So about 70% of that they're saying is probably correct. Another guy has 273,000 subscribers. His money changes a little bit. They're saying he's making about 35,000 a year. So I'm not sure where he may be missing the mark to kind of get up with the other guy, but you see where we're headed. Another guy's same amount of subscribers, but almost 3 times as much money yearly. They're saying they got 273,000 subscribers, and they're making about $96,000 a year in advertising revenue. So just, you know, if you want to round that up to 100 and say 70% of that's probably what they're really making, they're bringing in 70 grand a year talking about sneakers on YouTube, which isn't too bad at all. Another guy, 645,000 subscribers, $102,000 a year. So that's a little more in that $70,000, $71,000 range. Another guy, 103. These guys, 131,000 a year. And just looking at mine, it says that I should be making about $165 a year. If I was in the monetization already, I would be making about 100. Just call it $100 a year at the low level that I'm at right now. Very cool to be able to see these stats and see what these guys are bringing in. It definitely shows a lot of promise. I mean, especially when you start talking about, one of these guys is making 300 grand a year. So just say that's not quite correct. Say 300. Let's round it down to 300 and say he's making 70% of that. That's what's that? 210,000 a year. Not too bad, especially on top of all the free stuff you get from the manufacturers for being an influencer. I think the notes for this, would be we definitely see an uptick in live streaming views. We're gonna start doing that a lot more. The big brands with the hot sneakers. Once a sneaker is a month old or so, the views on it, I see them going down. So definitely let those big brands market those sneakers and then ride that wave is what I'm thinking. So I'm gonna keep going, doing videos on whatever the hot sneaker of the moment is and ride those views in, and then maybe there'll be some residual views, but not near as many as when that sneaker is like newly announced and released and hot. Nike, I did a Nike Dunk video, and Nike Dunks aren't that popular anymore. Nike's just not putting a lot of muscle behind pushing that silhouette anymore. Still a very cool sneaker, but struggling on the views. So I think that's it. I think that's what I've learned so far. I am keeping diligent notes and a couple legal pads, and I've got a couple spreadsheets going. I will tell you this, on Instagram I'm using Captivate to gain followers and real followers, and I keep a phone running all the time, kind of in the background on my desk that's keeping that going. So it's working good so far. I'm happy. We're over 100 subscribers. That opens up a few features for me. But at this point, I've opened up every feature I can until I get 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours viewed. Doing the live streaming, I'm not I'm not real far off at all from 4,000 hours of view time. I just need the subscribers. So we're going to keep experimenting, see what we can do to get those subscribers up and go from there. Once again, we're going to see if we can't build this thing into something. So you guys stay tuned, stick with me. If you haven't subscribed to the Heat Sneaker Cult page and my personal page, Keith Hill, go ahead and subscribe. It would help me tremendously. And we'll go from there. Let's see if we can't all do it together. So thank y'all.